Okay, so we're gonna do an install video here of our washer fluid reservoir tank. The advantage of having our aluminum one is that it tucks it into the frame and it picks it up quite a bit. That way you'll have more tire clearance. If you're putting bigger tires on, you're gonna need to relocate your washer fluid tank. These things are pretty awesome. We form them here, we weld them out here, we pressure test them to 3 PSI before they ship out. They're a good, solid product. They hold exactly a gallon of fluid. So it's pretty much the same amount of fluid as your standard one. These reuse the pump and the sensor that are in the factory one. We just pull out the sensor, pull out the pump. There'll be a couple of rubber grommets. Sometimes they're white. And you're gonna reuse these on the new tank. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of trimming. There's a plastic lug up inside that holds the factory one in place, and I believe it's this one where this one goes. You're gonna trim that plastic lug off, and then yeah, you'll just remove this guy. It's one clip, 2 bolts, drop it out the bottom, and you're ready to assemble your factory one, or your aftermarket one. So, first things we want to do here is pull your rubber grommets. Make sure they're pretty clean. And we like to suggest using some RTV silicone or just some silicone around the edges of these. It's just gonna help seal it up. You don't need a whole bunch of silicone, but it will help seal it. It's better to seal it and it not leak the first time than have to drain this tank to seal it a second time. So I'm just running a small bead of RTV around this lip. And we'll go ahead and install that one. This one is going to be for the sensor. So you can see the sensor will actually let you know that you're close to being out of washer fluid. You still have a little bit more of a tank once that thing triggers your CL on the dashboard. Got that one set in place. We're gonna turn this thing around. You can see on the back side is where our pump is gonna go. You got a hole, and that's where your next rubber plug is gonna go. Same thing, just run a small bead right around the inside lip. Looks good. Make sure it's kind of uniform. Go ahead and put that guy right where it goes. Popped in there pretty good. Got some extra silicone popping out, looks good. And now we're ready to install this guy. So I'd like to make a note here that we do have 2 different versions of this. There's one that comes with the Primate bumper, and there's one that you can buy separately. The one that you buy separately will not have this bent side where it mounts. It will be flat, and it will mount directly to the radiator subframe. This one is for the Primate upper bumper. It is bent at a 90-degree angle, and it mounts to the bracket that holds the upper bumper in place. So I just want to make that note, and when you see how I install this one, instead of it going to the bracket, the other ones will go right to the radiator subframe. They both sit in the same location, just what we had to do to accommodate this tank to this bumper. So let's go ahead and install it and we can see how it fits. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and install the pump and the lines that go to it, as well as the sensor. And you'll find that the pump and the sensor are ran in the same harness. You're gonna wanna split that harness apart, be able to get your lines to separate a bit further. Your pump is going on the back side of your tank, and your sensor is going on the front side of the tank. So you wanna make sure you have enough wire split where the pump and the sensor can split from each other. Install is super easy. We already got the rubber grommets in place. You're gonna take your pump, slip it down into the grommet, And once it's down all the way, you can put it into the slot up above, and that's gonna hold this thing into place here. Go ahead and get that. There we go. Push it back, and that's it. Once you get that top in the groove, can't come out, and we're nice and sealed at the bottom. So now I want to go ahead and connect those two lines. You'll have one line in the front facing this way, gets plugged in, and one line that runs around to the back side to go to the other side of the pump. So we'll go ahead and plug the back one in. Go ahead and plug the front one in. It passes through an opening, plugs in, easy. Now we're gonna go ahead and plug the sensor in. We kind of want to lift this thing up into place a little bit, just to give you a little bit of help to plug this next sensor in. So this sensor is really easy. It just pushes in place. Super easy. Just plugs in. Tight is good. All right, now that we have everything in place, we're just gonna push this tank upward until it lines up with the mount holes. Get our bolts in place. And again, this one is being mounted to the bracket for this primate bumper. The standard ones that you don't have the primate bumper for will just mount right here to the side of this radiator subframe. Procedure is just the same. It's just gonna, mount to a different location, that's all. All right, now that we have these bolts started, we're gonna take a look up top, see where the filler neck is at. If we like the location, we'll go ahead and tighten it down. And if we need to adjust anything, we should do so before we tighten it down. All right, so we got our washer fluid tank reinstalled, and we've got everything plugged in good. We're gonna go ahead and fill it with fluid and make sure it doesn't leak. They should be fine. We pressure test them before they leave here. Other than that, just take all your lines. You'll find a really convenient little clip on the side of the reservoir where you can tuck all your lines into it, put a zip tie around it, holds all your lines up there nice and tidy. Overall, great product. You won't have to worry about cracking your factory one out on a trail, and it gives you a lot more tire clearance. You can find these at www.sixmonkeys.net, and we look forward to building one for you.